Okay, so where do I start today? I'm gonna put my hand on my heart. I'm so excited to see you. I really am. I'm always excited to see you guys every single Monday. I'm super excited to see you. I like to tell you what I've been up to and what's been going on in my life because I keep extraordinarily busy all the time with myself and my family. And actually, it was what I did this weekend that really made me want to do the Magic Mondays talk today. Okay. And so let me give you a little bit of background. Okay. Before I do that. But first, let me start. Greg always helps me editing these for the YouTube channel. I put them on YouTube because I have a number of clients who really do not do Facebook. They just won't do Facebook. They're on Instagram, but not Facebook. So I take our Magic Mondays, I edit out the love and learn portion, and then I put it on my Soul Star Magic YouTube channel, which I think has 6 subscribers. But I put them there so at least my friends who don't do Facebook can take a look and watch the Magic Mondays on replay. So my husband edits them for me, and the way he knows is to edit out all of the hello and the greetings from you guys, and to edit it when I stop. I take a breath, I put my hand on my heart, and I say who I am. So that is really the beginning of Magic Mondays. So here we go. You ready? I'm going to take my big, deep breath. I encourage all of you guys to do it as well. Get grounded and sync your energy with mine so we can just have an amazing hour together. Okay, so here we go. 1. I'm going to do 3 because energy is rising. And then the 3rd, I'm going to let it out with a nice big ah breath. Okay, ready? Deep, 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 deep. My name is Jen Cushman. I am the owner of Soul Star Magic. I am an empathic intuitive and a Reiki master, Usui Reiki and Blue Star Celestial Reiki. And I'm wearing my shirt today, says Original Goddess. So it's my OG shirt today. And it is nice and cool in Northern Arizona right now. The heat is broken, so I'm having to put on a couple of layers, but it's nice. Fall is here. Okay, you guys. So today's topic is about something that I know is affecting a lot of you right now. I'm not going to call out any names because I don't want to for privacy reasons, but those of you that are going to hear what I'm going to talk about, you're going to know this is for you and about you. And it's a number of people here. And the topic today is about what happens or what is actually going on when you start your awakening journey, your ascension journey, whatever you want to call it, right? There's different words for it. It's an awakening journey or an ascension journey. And really what it is to me, it's when we wake up. It's when we start remembering who we are and what we are here for and what our purpose is. And it's when we start to widen our consciousness, right? So, we talk about the higher consciousness community, and, that means that we're getting a higher consciousness, which means we're moving up in our chakras and we are getting more intact, more in tune and more in tap with the world of spirit, the unseen world, and more in tune with our own higher self or our soul selves. That is basically ascension or the awakening journey. And the awakening journey is when we are waking up. And waking up doesn't necessarily mean we are waking up to all new things, though it can. And part of what I do on Magic Mondays is to talk about these topics that are interested to me and to you, hopefully, that are higher consciousness or wider consciousness. So I used to say higher consciousness, and I still will say that, but I really like the term wider consciousness, because what I really think that we're doing when we're waking up is we are just taking our minds and our third eye and we are just opening up nice and wide, and we are just widening our foveal vision. This is what we focus on, and we are widening it open to where we have more open availability for the information coming in. And so that way we can actually expand our thoughts and ourselves to different types of information and energy. Now, what happens when we start to wake up and remember who we are, we start changing. And when we start changing, there are people in our lives that don't like the changes. So If anybody this resonates with, I would love to see the hearts or start the questions or anything that you want to do. That is what happens. And so it happens a lot with our family because they are our energy of origin, right? They are who we were as children, how we were formed, our early childhood was formed, our belief systems forms, our beliefs about religion, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about relationships. All of those things were really, really formed in early childhood. So our family are the people that, know us, right? They know us the longest, but they also are the people who sometimes have the hardest, what do I want to say? The hardest change. When we start to change, they have a hard time changing because they've known us for so long to be one way and they know our stories. And so they're like, no, who is this person? Who is this new person? I don't like it because I know you as this. And they often want to keep us in our little bitty box, right? So this can happen with our friends. This can happen with our lovers, our relationships, a lot of things. And so I wanted to talk about this today is what I wanted to do. And that's today's topic, okay? So, and to go back, I want to tell you a little story because I like to tell stories. I think it helps makes this stuff seem less esoteric and more grounded and more in earth, right? More rooted to the three-dimensional world. So I always like to take the unseen in the seen and kind of merge them and marry them together when I can. So I spent the weekend, I went down to the Valley this weekend, Friday night, spent it with my best friend, and we volunteered for the Pride Festival, and we took our young ones with us, right? Our teenagers. And so we were volunteering for the Pride Festival, and, we're allies. There's like a great time to be an ally, and I love it. And so it was really fun. This is the second year that I volunteered, and we go down and we help the vendors and setting up in the booths. Now, those of you that know me know that I have a history in the crafts industry, and I used to travel and set up shows and break down shows and plan shows and work shows. So I have a real affinity for people who vend at shows because I know what it takes, right? So I really love helping out the vendors. And so it's really just, they come in, they have all of their car and they have their setup, and we get in our go-karts and we just take them down to the row and we tell them and help them get there. So to get there as quick as possible so they can get in, they can get set up, they can get ready, and they can do the event. And it's super fun. I love just riding the golf course, right? And my daughter even, was riding the golf cart and really helping people. So it was amazing. Other than having to get up at the ungodly hour at 4:30 a.m. to be there at 5 a.m. to be ready to go with a little bit of training, to be ready at like 6 a.m. because the vendors need to come in, get their stuff done, get ready and get set up. So that's the only downside, is the unholy hour that we have to wake up and be there. The Pride event is really important for me on a number of reasons, right? One, I believe that love is the highest vibration of all. You hear me talk about this pretty much every single Monday. Love is the highest vibration, right? So love is what is the piece of hope for us in our world. Love is the thing that is going to save us if we have a chance to be saved in this world because of the problems that we have and the things that are going on environmentally and other things that are happening, right? So love is the highest vibration, and I stand for deep love. And I also stand for the fact that love, we are allowed to love. It's a basic human right. Love is a basic human right, and we can love whoever we want. So we can love them romantically, platonically, family, our chosen family, our family we're born into, our friends, whatever. It doesn't matter. Love is the highest vibration, and I stand for deep love. And I stand for the basic human right of being able to love anybody that you want to. Okay, so the other thing I really love about Pride is that for me, where I resonate is that for a very long time, my whole life, actually, I've been a sensitive, right? Been highly sensitive my whole life. and it affected who I am and who I am as a person. And for many, many years, I was in a family of origin that didn't really understand my sensitivities. Now, they didn't make fun of my sensitivities, but they didn't develop my sensitivities. Let's just put it that way, right? And so I really learned to kind of hide my sensitivities, and I learned to close all that part off of me. And even as I was growing up, it took me a long time, to be open to people about, I see angels, I feel angels, I'm sensitive, I know things maybe that I'm not supposed to know, all that kind of stuff. And so it took me a really long time to really come out as my authentic self and be my authentic self. So I also stand for authenticity, right? And for me, pride is a really great way that I can come out and stand for my own authenticity and also be around people and just support deep love. Okay, so that's the background of the story of what I was doing on Saturday. I had a great time doing that. The vendors were so excited and so grateful that, we would take them and help them and, get them where they needed to go, help them get stuff from their booth so they didn't have to carry it, people that had to walk in and all that kind of stuff. And then they had us come back, afterwards, because the event started at noon and went all weekend. And they were like, hey, come back and see us when you're done with your shift. So I did. So I got to go meet some incredible human beings and have some really great discussions with them. And one of the things I heard over and over and over again at the Pride event was the stories of a lot of people who, just really were born into a family of origin that didn't necessarily respect or approve of the decisions that they make. And they had to really find the bravery within themselves to really live their authentic truth and stand up for who they are. And then one of the other stories I heard a lot over the weekend, and I hear a lot from other people, as they started to stand in their authentic truth, then what happened is they lost people in their lives, right? They lost family members. Some people lost parents, some people lost siblings, some people lost, really, really good friends, college friends, family friends, those kind of things. And one of the things I was really realizing during this conversation, and one of these things that I have in my own private practice, my clinical practice with a lot of people, is working through this transition, this pain that you have to go through when you realize that somebody who you care about deeply is really maybe not going to make the transition with you as you stand up for your authentic self and your authentic truth, and how painful that can be, right? So I just decided that that's what I wanted to talk about today, you guys. I really want to talk about what happens during this awakening. It doesn't have to be your orientation or your gender or, or your sensitivities or whatever. It can be whatever it is when you get to this point to where you decide you're going to widen your consciousness, you are going to open your brain, and you are going to start thinking about things and believing things and understanding things from a wider, deeper, higher perspective, and how you doing that can be threatening to other people. And what is that like to go through that transition of when you may be threatening to other people? And the reality is that, we can't really control it. I put something on Facebook this week that I really loved and wanted to, that says, there is a thing that is said that somebody told me I was intimidating. And my friend who was standing next to me said, is she intimidating or are you intimidated? And then from that moment on, I never worried about intimidating anybody again, because I realized that that was their baggage and not mine. That was their stuff and not mine. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. Okay. Now, because you know how I feel about energy and that everything is energy, I would like to approach this for a moment, the teaching right now from an energy perspective. And I want to talk a little bit about energy, and then I will relate it to emotionality and other things that are happening. Okay, good. We're good with this. Okay. So from an energy perspective, you have to understand that energy is energy. and that energy is always moving, right? Energy really doesn't stay static. A current is always moving. So energy is always like a wave. That's what's going on with the energy. It is a wave of energy. Energy is either ramping up to the peak, and then it hits the peak, and then it is actually decreasing in energy and powering back down to hit to a trough. And then it gets to a trough, and then it actually starts powering back up again. So as energetic beings, every single day of our lives, every moment of our lives, we are either on the rise up for power, hitting the peak, or coming down on the power, right? We know this because of naturally we sleep, right? We are awake during the day and we sleep during the night. Some of us, if you work nights, then it's the opposite, but we are always on a power up stage, and then we are getting to the end of our day, and then we're powering down, and then we're powering down so we can come back up again. So we have energetic fluctuations throughout our entire day. Okay, got that. Stay with me here. So now on this energetic wave, what happens is we are vibing and going and waving and doing our energies, right? And then the other people around us are vibing and doing their energies as well. If you live with people, then you are meshing your energies to their energies. If you have a spouse or a partner or, anybody that you're living with, then your energies are entwined with other people's energies. If you live alone, then it's just your energy that is moving and grooving and going. However, even if you live alone, you are still in contact with other people because you have to go to the grocery store, you got to live your life, you got to go to the bank, you got to get out of the house, you have friends, you have families, you have loved ones. So we are always interacting and vibing with other people's energy, always, right? That is just always happening right now. So here's the thing that happens. When you are becoming aware and you are waking up and you're starting to become aware and you are starting to really look at your life and you are starting to realize that there are parts of your life that is like that are just becoming uncomfortable, and it's like a snake. You have to start shedding that skin, because as we grow, as we change, as we age, as we get wisdom, we have got to shed the old in order to transform and renew and become who we want to become. So as we are actually growing and changing our vibration and shedding our skin, then our vibes are affecting other people around us. That's just the way it is. Now, some people don't like what we're doing, right? They want us to stay the same. And I think you remember I've told you in the past, when you are starting to get pushback from people because you are changing, you are growing, you're becoming something, bigger than what you were, you are starting to get bigger ideas, and you are starting to get pushed back from people. It's really important to look at who are the people that are giving you the most pushback. And usually the people that are giving you the most pushback are the people who have benefited the most from you staying the way you were. Okay, so hopefully you hear that. The biggest pushback usually comes from the people who benefit the most from you staying the way you were. Okay, your change makes them uncomfortable. And it's why on an energetic level, here's what's happening. Okay, atoms like to clump together energetically. That's how you make a wave, right? We got atoms clumping together. So what happens is when energy gets together and the energies are out of sync with each other, it causes a dissonance. It actually causes an energetic dissonance. And so both of those cells have a little bit of a dissonance right there while they're interacting, and it causes friction. Now, friction is a little bit uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily feel so great. So on an energetic level, the friction is happening right now. And so those cells must harmonize. That's the way energy works. In order to move together, they must harmonize. So this means that when your energies get together, it's going to have a little bit of friction when your energies are no longer matching. So something's going to happen. The energies are going to have to harmonize. So that means that the person with the higher vibration or the wider vibration is going to have to tone it down a little bit, or the person with the less vibration, or their frequency is going to have to bring it up a little bit. But you have to bring that energy into harmony, right? And you have to do that, and it's trying to come into harmony together. So that's what's happening, is there's that little bit of friction going on. Now, here's the really cool thing, and this is scientific, and I've said this during one of my Reiki monthly shares that I was doing this. So researchers have actually taken heart cells. They have taken the cells of different hearts, and they've put them in a petri dish together, and they've actually studied the cells of the heart cells. And they've taken them. So when they put the cells into the petri dish, they're all different vibrations, right? They are actually at different hertz. Our bodies vibrate at different megahertz is what they do. So the heart has a different frequency than the brain cells, than the liver cells. There's all a different frequency in there, and they actually can measure the energy or the frequency of the cells. So these hearts from different people, these heart cells go into the petri dish. The heart with the strongest vibration, right? The strongest frequency is actually the lead heart cell. And the other cells will adjust their frequencies. They will adjust their vibrations and their energies to harmonize and match with the lead heart cell. Isn't that cool? Like, that is so awesome to me. I like get angel bumps every time I hear that. So if you can take that and extrapolate that from science into what's happening, and extrapolate that out into a metaphor, you have to understand that you could be the lead heart cell. Around your people, you can be the lead heart cell. You can be the one that, as your energy awakens and as your energy gets wider and higher, you can actually be so strong in your authenticity, so strong in your light, that the people around you actually come into harmony and congruence with you. Okay? You got that? Do you understand that? Now, here's what happens. Excuse me, let me take a drink. Happens. You guys, this is me and this is channeling. So obviously my voice does these things. They'll crack sometimes. So hang on a second. Let me get back in and talk about getting back in resonance, right? So you have to understand that me and my team, we are trying to come together. So I have my energy as Jen. I have my angels and my guides team, and I have my spiritual energy, and I've learned to tap in and tune into them. But it's very interesting what happens to my energy and my voice when I'm teaching and doing these things. So sometimes there's a little bit that was like an energy bloop. I had like a little bloop, and I got out of dissonance with them. So you can hear it in my voice. So hang on a second. Let me get my energy back in. I just have to actually harmonize it back. Okay, where was I? So we were talking about the energy and the heart cells and being the lead heartbeat. Okay, so what happens, right? What happens when we're out of dissonance? When you are together, think about the petri dish, right? You're together with your people, you're together with, with some of your old friends, and you're changing. And all of a sudden you guys are outside of your heart cell, and you're not just sitting in there, and you're not just a little cell that's hanging out waiting to see who's going to respond to the other heart cells and who's actually going to be the lead heart cell, right? So here you are, and you're with your friends, with your family, and you're all hanging out, and there is a dissonance, right? Your energies are not matching anymore. So what is going on is, behind the scenes, in the unseen, we're all feeling it, right? So we are feeling it, because remember what I told you about your bioenergetic field, your bioelectric field, or your aura, and your chakras. They are constant feelers, right? They are spidey senses. My Reiki teacher calls it the cat's whiskers, so he says that our chakras are like the cat's whiskers, and I love that. I tend to say that they're like our spidey senses, because they're tingly like that to me. The energy, I can feel the currents of them, and they're tingly. So what happens is we feel it. So we're in energetic dissonance. We're in energetic discord with each other. And then what happens, right? Then what happens is we go back into our stuff, right? It's this energy dissonance. Is it a trigger for us? And then we get triggered, and then we go back into our emotional baggage. So we go back into, so think about your partner. think about your family, think about your stuff. What happens is you feel this schism, and then we go back into our baggage. And so that's when the stuff comes up. So then that's when, the triggers come up. We go into, our childhood hurts. We go into the stuff we can't let go of. We go into our emotional baggage. We go into our, limiting beliefs, decisions, blah. And then what happens is the energy starts, the energy's bouncing all around, because the cells are trying to figure out how to get back into harmony. And we're trying to get into that harmonizing energy. And then it just kind of goes into our stuff. So now as empaths and feelers, we feel this, right? We feel all of this. And here's what I want you to do, okay? I've been talking about all this stuff to get to this moment right now. So listen up, okay? Check this out and listen up. When this is happening, typically, as highly sensitive and as empaths, what we do is we just give up. It's not worth the fight, right? We don't want to be worth the fight. So what happens is we just give up, we get quiet, we modulate our energy, we tuck it back into us, and then we allow somebody else to be the lead heart cell, right? So it's just because it's just easier that way. It's easier to let the strongest person, particularly in a family situation, the one who has always been the loudest, the one who's always taken the lead, the one who gets the most upset, the one who causes the most drama, right? All of that kind of stuff. Typically, it's just easier to throw the ball back to them, and then everybody tiptoes around that person, and then we're back into our family patterns, and then we're feeling yucky and sad, and like, again, we're doing this, right? So, I want you to recognize that. So as an empath and a highly sensitive as a feeler, here's what I want to do for you is I want you to recognize what is going on. And I want you to understand that at this moment, you have a choice. Okay, you have a choice in this moment to change what's happening. If you can't change it, then what you have is you have a choice in this moment to stay in your home frequency. You have a choice in this moment to take a big deep breath, square your shoulders, and just be in your home frequency. Now, it doesn't mean you have to respond or react. It doesn't mean that you have to start yelling. It doesn't mean you have to change anything. You just literally take a breath and stand in your frequency. And you decide at this moment, I am going to be in my authenticity. I'm going to be in my wider, expanded version of myself. And you don't have to say a word. You just stay there. And then here's what's really interesting. If you can stay there, you may find as you play with energy that you become the lead heart cell, right? You actually will watch as other people, because you're in congruency, right? You are in harmony of yourself, right? You are completely in control of your own energy and your behavior. And you understand that you have a bioelectric field, you have an aura, and you are holding firm in it. So then what happens is the schisms can't happen as much. The energy, it's coming in, it's moving around. And as it's trying to harmonize and you're being like this really strong ball, the energy has to kind of crackle and go around you. And then you'll see that what happens is with practice and with time, the energy changes and moves in a different direction. The response you get from people is different. You become different, okay? So it's a really cool thing when you understand in the very beginning that you can hold and maintain your energy, okay? Okay. So, and then I promise to give a few more tips. I do want to go back and say, hi, Eleanor. Thank you for coming into my Magic Mondays for the very first time. You guys, I met Eleanor in my Blue Star Celestial Reiki training. She's one of my new friends from that energy. So say hello to Eleanor, you guys. Eleanor, welcome to the Soul Star Magic community. So happy to see you. Colleen says, cool interview. And then Susan says, my nephew wore a dress, high society wedding. So proud, he's so authentic. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge those. Okay. Okay, so I want to redirect my energy really quick. So when we redirect our energy to that, the other thing I want to tell you about is that, this stuff isn't easy, okay? It's Okay, so one of the things that I hear a lot, and I hear it in the community, I hear when people are talking about, because I deal with people dealing with change and transformation, and my job is really to move stuck energy. Okay, so whether it's NLP, it's readings, it's intuitive, it's energy work, whatever it is, my job is to help make sure that we keep that energy flowing and moving. And what I try to do is I try to move that energy in an empowered state, move it towards an empowered state as opposed to a disempowered state. Okay, so that means that when you are having any emotional baggage, limiting thoughts, those kind of things, I listen with my team and the help, and then we listen to those words, and then we figure out, where is the disempowering information coming from, and how can we move that into a more empowering state. Now, here's the thing about it. This stuff is not easy at all. And it's really challenging if it's with your partner. And one of the things I hear in the community, and I hear people say, well, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Just do it, right? So if it's so, like you're not getting along, you haven't been getting along for a while, just leave them, just separate from them, get a separation, get a divorce, just do it. And I think that's really kind of bad. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. It's just not that easy. Just is not easy, right? Other things, it's like, okay, your family, well, they've been driving you crazy forever. Like, just tell them you're not going to put up with it anymore, right? I'm just going to do this. Well, it's not that easy to just do this, you guys. And I see it in the consciousness community, the higher consciousness community, but I also really, really, really see it in the personal development community. Here's another one that comes up a lot. Oh my gosh, you hate your corporate job. You've been doing it. Your boss is sucking the life out of you. That job's sucking your life out of you. Just do it. Just quit, just quit and follow your dreams and follow your passions and be an entrepreneur. You want to, you don't want to do that anymore. Just become a coach, right? Like, that's the easiest thing in the world. Just become a coach. Just like stick up a sign and get clients and tell people how they're supposed to change their life, right? Just do it. It's not that easy, right? We deal with a physical universe. Okay. We are always dealing with the fifth dimension. We're dealing with the, with the non-physical universe, and we're dealing with the physical universe. And I think that if anything denies the physical universe, you're not dealing with reality. Now, that's a whole nother discussion, because we've talked about this. What is reality? How empowering are our minds? What we think, what we do. So it's a tricky slope there right now. But what I wanted to bring up about this is I just wanted to bring up a lot of love, mostly more than anything. I want to give you love, and I want to give you encouragement that this awakening journey, right? This awakening, waking up, widening your consciousness, being authentic, standing up for your truth, being who you are, being in congruency. This is not an easy task to follow, but it is worth it. And so that is what I'm here to tell you today, and what my team is here. It is worth it. Okay. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And, and it takes practice. And going slow is often the best time when you have these big challenges, right? Relationship challenges, whether it's a partnership or a business partnership or a friendship or whatever, and you're having challenges, is because your energy is not matching anymore. Your vibration is no longer in sync anymore. Just remember, you guys, that energy is a wave. You're moving up, reaching a peak, and then powering down to a trough, right? So relationships are doing this as well. And there is a period that what happens is unification to come together is a process, and dissolution is a process as well. And you can't just snap your fingers and have a genie in the bottle and have stuff begin like this and go away like this. It doesn't happen. It takes time, energy, effort, communication, integration, all of those other kind of things. Okay. That being said, here is something else I want to tell you. Whew. Now, this is going to sound really intense, and it's going to sound like it's coming with judgment, and please know it is not. Okay. So this is a little bit of a prequel to what I'm going to say. If you are in relationships and you have been growing and changing and transforming, and the person around you is unable and unwilling to grow and change and transform, and they are not willing to meet you halfway or even a quarter of way, if they are stuck and you are trying really, really, really hard to grow, there is a time that what happens is it is a choice at that point. So if you are actually finding yourself where it has become and you are in toxic relationships, here's the thing. At some point, it is your choice how much and how long you're going to continue to willingly drink the poison. Okay? I know that's big, right? That's a big statement, and they're telling me, and it's really comes with a lot of judgment there. But I want you to really look at that. If any of you are really in any kind of relationships that have become toxic, friendships, anything like that, and they become toxic, you need to really look at what is that toxicity? Where is it coming from? Who's responsible for it? What parties are responsible about? How willing is there to be change? And then at some point, how willing are you to continue to drink the poison? Because if you continue to drink the poison and you know that it's no longer good for you, right? Then you are staying in it, which means that you are making the choice to be in a lower vibration that is out of harmony with who you want to be, right? You are choosing to lower your vibration in order to stay, or in order to make it easy, or because it's just too hard, and that is a choice. And as long as you recognize that it's your choice, it's okay. Okay. But if you don't recognize that it's your choice, then you are a victim. And then a victim is disempowering. And then you're in victim story. Okay. And that is really, that is a low, low, low vibration. You are really allowing everybody around you to be the lead heart cell, and you are not the lead heart cell at that point. Okay. Okay. Again, no judgment. We all are growing, changing. We are all doing the best we can with the information we have, and it is our lives. And I am only here to talk to you guys about what you can do to live your best life. And that's all this is information. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I want to tell you. It's been a long talk, so I want to make sure I get on to something else. I did say that I did want to give you some practical tips for change. And just as a last practical tip for change, the thing I really want to share with you guys is that when you are changing and growing and ascending or awakening or those kind of things, it is a process. It sometimes takes time for your people to get on board. Okay. It doesn't mean you need to throw your people away, but at some point, some people need to go. And if that happens, it can feel lonely, it can get hard and those kind of things. But at some point, if they can't match your vibration and you are unwilling to lower your vibration, you need to be able to let it go and let that relationship go, ideally in love and light, if that's possible. A lot of times that's not possible, which is why you need help, which means you need maybe therapy, counseling, a reading, other kind of stuff. Just remember, you don't have to do it alone. Okay. That's the other thing. Just remember, you don't have to do it alone. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's really, really complete right now. Okay. And that's good completion energy. So, and more than anything, this is a message of hope today. Okay. It is a message of hope that as you are changing, as you are growing, as you are shedding the skin of the things that no longer serve you and no longer help you in your life, it is worth it. It is good. It is hard. It is difficult, and you can do it. And if your people come along with you, great, amazing. If your people can't come along with you, bummer, sad, sorry, but whatever it is, you can't change anybody else. You really can't. You can only change yourself. And in the hopes of changing yourself, your energy becomes so strong, you become so congruent that you get to become the lead heartbeat, and you get to do it in love and light. Okay? Okay. I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, please pop them in there, but that was what I wanted to talk about. Okay. Thank you for letting me talk about that. Okay. So I'm going to switch into a couple of card pulls. Hitomi, if you want to go ahead and bring people up, you know who's here. You guys remember Hitomi helps moderate. So she takes all of your names and everything that's in here, and she will put it in her little pile. And then she, with her guides and her angels, she intuitively pulls the names. Okay. So she's not really handpicking anybody. She's not being like, Anne hasn't had a reading for 4 weeks, so it's Anne's turn. She doesn't do that. She just allows spirit to guide her. Okay. So Hitomi hopefully will get a reading going for it. And she will give me the right person to come on. Okay, so that's going to happen. And Ashley's here and everybody's here. While I'm waiting for Hitomi really quick, you guys, I do want to tell you, I am working and changing some things myself. I'm moving some things around in my business. It started with my room, and I am going to be open for, I'm definitely open for in-person sessions. So we can talk about that later if anybody wants to come see me in person. I'm also going to be looking at doing some restructuring of my fees, the energy exchange, the money and how I get paid there. So I'll be working on that. I'll be talking about that in the future. And I do have some people who really, really want to be clients of mine, and they are not able to pay the standard set rate right now. So I'm looking at a sliding scale and how I can help that. I don't ever want money to be the thing that stands in the way of anybody being able to get help. And I am working with my team right now and some other friends of mine to try to figure out how I can be able to get that going. Okay. So if any of you are in my community here and you have not gotten a reading from me at this point, or gotten a Reiki session from me at this point because of finances, please go ahead and email me soulstarmagic@gmail.com and we can work something out. Okay. Because I don't want that ever to be a stopping point of anything. Okay. And then also I've got some Art Plus Spirit things going on in 2023 that I am wrapping up right now. And I will be talking about that next Magic Monday. Okay. Okay, you guys, Colleen is the very first card pull, and I want to go ahead and pull him. I'm using my deck right now, my Joyful deck. And I'm just going to pull some cards from my very own deck right now. So Colleen, here you go. See what the card says. Okay, Colleen, I love this, you guys. I love that the cards just always, my team always has the cards follow the love and learn. And I love that. So less perfection, more authenticity, less perfection, more authenticity. So yes, Eleanor. So I know this is your first time, Eleanor, doing it. And I didn't really discuss the way this works, but I do a love and learn topic with me and my team first. And then I try to keep it around 30 minutes. Sometimes they go longer when they're in depth. And then at the end of it, I'll pull a couple of cards and do some mini readings. Okay. So that's how it works. As long as you respond in there, Hitomi, who moderates for me, she'll put you in for the potential of a reading. Okay. So that's how that works. So, okay. No worries about jumping in. Honestly, I need to make sure I take the time to do that for all of the new people. So you know that there is a format to those. So thank you, Eleanor. I appreciate you jumping in and responding to it. So that's awesome. It allows me to do a better job at what I need to do. So, okay. So here we go, Colleen. So less perfection, more authenticity. You can see as I was drawing this, I was just drawing out the heart and the flames and the sacred heart the best I can. You can see that nothing is straight, that my marks are not straight, that everything is just the way it is because, you know, that's the way I am. I don't really do anything straight. I can't cut straight. I can't draw straight. I'm so not straight and narrow. It's not even funny. So this is less perfection, more authenticity. So Colleen, this is for you and anybody else who this resonates with. Remember, if it resonates with you, it is for you, whether I call your name or you don't. So less perfection, more authenticity. So Colleen, whatever the project is right now that you're really, really feeling rushed to complete because there is a deadline for completion right now, and you've got to meet that deadline, or somebody around you with the team needs to meet the deadline and you are the support person, which is probably more likely of what I'm hearing right now. Just remember that completion is more important than perfection. If we have perfection, perfection is actually a learned behavior. It is a learned coping mechanism that stems and comes out from us fear. It's fear-based, and we're afraid that we're not going to do it right enough, that we're not going to do it good enough, that we're not worthy enough, that you know, that it's just not It's not perfect, right? And so that is an insecurity that comes from person. It is a learned behavior that happens again in our lives because it's a fear that comes in that if we that if we don't do it perfect, then we don't do it at all. And it is a way of stopping us from doing our lives. It's a way of stopping us from being, having, and doing what we want to do. Perfectionism is actually a really low vibration coping mechanism, learned behavior, and emotional baggage is what that is. Okay. So remember, progress, not perfection. It is better done than perfect. Okay. If you need to remind yourself that, Colleen, or anybody on your team, and this is your way of being the lead heart cell, be the lead heart cell this week, that it is better to get it done and put it out in the world and let people experience your gifts and your joy than it is to worry about it being perfect, because it will never be perfect, right? Perfectionism is exhausting. It is a waste of energy, okay? It's a waste of valuable life mana or energy. Okay. So Colleen, I'm hearing that it's more that you need to plant the seeds for that. I don't think it's happening as much for you personally as possibly what's happening around you as part of your work team. And it is your job as the lead heart cell to help people get to completion energy. So move to completion energy. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Love it.